So just wanted to start off with all of the functionality issues that we're still experiencing, and when we expect them to be addressed. So top two priorities are missing participants and the caseloads. We're still working very hard to get those at 100%. And thank you so much to all of you for being so cooperative and patient with us and taking the time to get those missing and inactive participant lists to us. Really, really appreciate. We had a great response on that, and you all got them in on time, so thank you so much. And we are working now with some additional developers with PHL who are their sole purpose is to work with SASH and our data to ensure that we get that uploaded and accurate in the next couple weeks. So we're really excited to hear that. So we do expect those to actually be addressed in the next couple weeks. Third item up there, medications. So we are still on hold for entering medications. The functionality is still being tested, so a few of us have been able to see what it looks like and how it'll function. It's just still not ready for our live site, but I will let you know as soon as that happens so that we can get medications entered. And then last item is the patient ping feed as well as the updated roster. And that item really is tied to our caseloads as well as the historical data upload. So basically, as soon as that happens, a lot of these other pieces will fall into place, like reporting and the patient ping feed and our ability to update the patient roster.
Hi, Rick. This is Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi. Who's this?
You joined the PHL phone call? This is Madeline.
The phone just rang from outside.
Oops. You can hang up then.
Okay, bye.
That's weird.
I swear I didn't touch anything.
You're good, Madeline. Keep going. I'm trying to mute people as I don't know where that call came from.
Okay. So that's the short list of our functionality issues. Those are really our big priorities. We are aware of a few other glitches in the system, but we're really focusing our effort on these ones. Do we have any questions on what I just went through?
Seems like we're good.
Okay, great. So the burning issue, your caseloads, again, thanks for being so cooperative with us and sending in your lists in such a short amount of time. We are working with these additional developers who are devoted to us and getting all of our data in the right place. So after we got those lists from you, we did do some work with PHL to address those lists, and I believe quite a few of you should see at least your missing people and your inactivated people addressed. I have heard from several of you that some other issues were created while that happened. So we're working with these additional developers to see what we can do next. So for right now, I don't have a next step. We're going to see if we can do it with the information that you've provided to get your caseloads at 100%. And then we will know more once they've taken a crack at it. So thanks again for being so patient and working with us while we figure this all out.
So it looks like someone also has a question. They're wondering when the demographic information will be available, meaning like on the historical data.
Yeah. So maybe I'll have to ask you to clarify. Demographic information to me means like date of birth, gender, race. So what historical data did you need to be available?
I'm guessing that they mean the information connected to the historic clients. So when the clients are uploaded, is their data being uploaded?
Yeah, so we do expect our historical data to be available in a limited capacity in the next couple weeks. So we've asked them to prioritize a list of variables like immunizations, for instance, and trying to think of some others. However, all of our historical data will definitely be uploaded in the next month, I would say. However, the key list of variables that we're looking for will cover quite a bit of the important information for the clients, which we expect in the next couple weeks. So if there's a variable or some data specifically that you're wondering about, let me know, and I can be less vague.
She said, thank you. That seems to answer her question.
Okay. Okay. If we don't have other questions on that, I'll turn it over to Amy. I'll bring up this PowerPoint slide. Is that okay with you to go through these?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to hit the slideshow? Oh, there you go. Can everyone make sure their phone's muted, *6? We're getting a big echo and I can't mute any more people. So if you can make sure your phones are muted, that would be great. Oh, awesome. Whoever just muted your phone, that was exactly what worked. Oh, you need to show your other screen, Madeline. Madeline?
Sorry, I'm on my laptop. I don't have another screen.
Okay. Let me change presenter back to me then.
Okay.
Because you're showing the stuff that's going to be too small. So hold on.
Oh shoot.
That's okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, so everyone should see my screen now. So this is what we show new folks, but this has to do with who does what with the SASH assessment. So we wanted to kind of just review this so people knew. So these are all the tabs when you go to the visit tab for the assessment. And so we're going to talk about who does what in PHL and with the assessments. So first, there we go. So the SASH coordinators, they should be doing the SASH coordinator assessment tab and the person-centered interview summary tab. Those are things that are pretty much solely SASH coordinator information that they would collect and that they would then enter into PHL. For wellness nurses, they do these tabs that are kind of in that peach color. Clinician, diagnosis, meds, allergies, med review, vitals, the ADLs, AADLs, PHQ2 and 9, the general health assessment, nutrition assessment, falls risk, mini-cog, GAD7, SMSG, audit, and the DAS 10. We do know that there are some coordinators that are trained in collecting blood pressure and that kind of thing. But for the most part, these are the things that would be collected by and then entered by the wellness nurses. Both the coordinators and the wellness nurses would use the care utilization tab, transition planning, the notes tab, obviously, falls history, the CSSRS, and social connectedness and Lubin scales. So those are done by both and can be collected, a lot of those at any point in time. So it would be at the annual assessment and then periodically. And then these other tabs we know will be removed, and I know we've said this for a while, but they really will be removed. The risk stratification, readmit root cause, SRM, CG monitor, and health literacy. So we don't do anything with those, so you can completely ignore those tabs. So I hope that this clarifies some of the information around the assessment. And just for additional information, we're in the process of updating, because I know there's people out there who have cheat sheets because the SASH assessment, there's so many pages of paper. So we are actually creating two separate ones, one for wellness nurses and one for SASH coordinators. And then we'll also have the full version. And so it's many pages less, and it's geared completely towards the information that would be collected by both the coordinators and the wellness nurses. So hopefully that clears up some of the information and confusion around that. So anyone have any questions about that? Doesn't look like it. Okay. If you do, just type them in the chat. Do you want me to give control back to you, Madeline?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. So Paul said, I don't see PCI on my choices. I'm guessing you mean person-centered interview. Person-centered interview is a SASH coordinator role, and it is yellow. It's the kind of tab that's all the way in the lower right-hand corner, if that's what you mean, Paul. Okay, go for it, Madeline.
Okay, great. Okay, so I wanted to demonstrate at least moving a participant from one panel to another. Oh, I think we just got a question from Paul, or a follow-up question.
Yeah, so it says, is it combined with suicide? No. So the CSSRS, the Columbia Suicide Severity Rating Scale, it's kind of right next to the person-centered interview and tabs. So those are two separate things. The CSSRS, all of our staff has been or should have taken that training. So either coordinators or wellness nurses can do that assessment as needed. Okay, and Paul, yeah, that sounds great. If you do have questions offline, I'm more than happy to answer them if that's too confusing. Go for it, Madeline.
Okay, thanks. So first I wanted to demonstrate moving a participant from one panel to another. We have had some folks reach out about this lately, so they're usually the receiving coordinator gets a new participant to their panel. However, they've been in a panel prior to that. So you wouldn't want to add a new record for this participant and add them as you would a brand new participant, because we already have a record established for them, and we don't want to create two records for them, because then it seems as though they are two different people. So I'm going to first pull up my desk aid for this process, and I believe it's called moving participants from one panel to another. Yep, moving a participant from one panel to another. So I'm just going to keep this on hand, and I just logged myself out of PHL, so I'm going to have to log back in. Oh, and I'm already in. Interesting. Okay. So step one is first exit the participant. So again, I'm sorry, I didn't clarify. This process is done by the old panel. So the old panel is going to have to remove them first from their caseload and then add a referral. And that referral will basically be the step that gets them from the old panel to the new panel. So if you do have a participant who moves from one panel into your panel and you don't see them on your caseload yet, best practice would be to just reach out to the coordinator or the wellness nurse at the old panel. And so you can have that conversation that they did move to a new panel and that we need to start the referral process to get them switched over. So as the person at the old panel, you want to exit them first. So we have a new panel in here that's just for testing. So there's only one person in here. So I'm going to move Bob Test, Ross Test to a training panel. So the desk aide said first exit the participant and make sure to select move to another SASH site as the suspension reason. Okay, so to do that, we're going to add a new visit. And I'm going to select Bob's program, which is full benefit. And the visit type will be exit program. And
Hey,
visit
Madeline?
reason.
It's Amy. How important is it for them to choose the correct benefit amount, whether it be auto or full? I asked that because before we were saying that that was a key sticking point as to why the exiting program wasn't working. So I just wanted to clarify for folks.
So it won't automatically navigate you to the next page after you click save if the program is incorrect. So we were telling people to troubleshoot that by switching their program. So you can select that. For most of your participants, they will be full benefit. If that's not the case, then try switching them to the auto benefit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so now I'm going to click no longer in SASH/SASH panel and save. And it should automatically navigate us to the edit referral page. And of course it didn't. I'm going to try selecting auto benefit. And I think I have everything. Yep. Yeah, no, it didn't. So there is a way to navigate there on your own. So I'm going to go to Client Management, Referral Management. And
now, Madeline, is this something that people should do if this exit program doesn't work on their own? They should navigate here on their own?
Yes.
Okay. So we might want to update the desk aide to say that. I'll make a note. Okay.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, so I searched for the participant. And if it wasn't clear before, I went to Client Management, Referral Management, which brought me to this referral page. And I searched for the participant that I'm moving, and their record shows up in this table at the bottom. So I'm going to click on that record. And this is the page that you would normally come to automatically. You are going to have to click this suspend box. Normally that would be clicked automatically if that process worked. So just keep that in mind if you do get here on your own to click this suspend box.
And don't worry too much, you folks, about following these details and writing them down. We'll update the desk aid and have it be reflected on that.
Yeah. So this is where we click the suspension reason to be moved to another SASH site. And that should be all of the required information. So I'm going to click save. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Thanks for asking. And it doesn't typically let you know that things saved properly. You can always click save again if you're just want to triple check. So now I'm going to go back to my desk aid and see what the next step is, because we completed step 1. So now step 2, the participant needs to be referred to the other panel. This is similar to creating new participant, but we'll keep all of the historical information. So we're going to go on to step 3. Click New Referral under the Client Management tab, and it will bring us to the Add Referral page. Answer all questions with a red asterisk. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to Client Management, New Referral, and we're going to complete all of the questions with a red asterisk. Okay, and I actually can't remember his date of birth. I'll look it up because I can Google him. But keep in mind to...
Did you put the exact date of birth of Bob Ross? That's awesome.
I might have.
I just have to appreciate that.
October 29th, 42. Okay, so 10/29/1942. Normally this would be in your charts. Please don't Google your participants. Okay.
But this is important to note that it's good to have this information available when you are exiting a participant and moving them to a new panel, so that when you do have to enter this information, you have it correct and in front of you.
And I forget what we're putting in the background information. Please type moving to a different SASH site. And save. Okay. Okay, so now we're on step 6. You will now be on the Edit Referral page. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Click Show Clients window, and you should see the participant's name in the top box. Okay. So we're going to scroll to the bottom, Show Clients window, and there he is. So I'm going to click on his name, and we haven't gotten to this part in the desk aid yet, so I'm just going to be sure I know what I'm doing. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, so you're skipping 8 and 9 and 10 and 11, it looks like.
Show clients window, no. Okay. So we click on the participant's name, and we'll be at the client referrals table, and we'll select accept referral. Okay. So that is the client referrals, and we're going to accept. Okay. So we'll notice the accept referral box is now checked. Go back to our desk aid. It says the referral update, it should say referral updated successfully. Great. Now we complete, okay, so it looks like now we complete the agency site and staff member. And the site now will be the new site because you're creating a referral to the new site. And so we're going to put him in the training site. So let me keep it separate. Oh, it's training. Yeah, there it is. And you can select, I usually just select everyone who comes up to cover my bases. You will know the specific people who have access to this participant, but for training purposes, I just select everyone. Okay, and
oh, you have to do the agency too.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. Got your back.
Okay, now we're gonna save referral info. Okay, looks good so far. Okay, so we did 17, and now step 18 is to okay, go to the field staff tab and click on participant's name. You'll then be in the client tab, update the site dropdown with the new panel name, and then we'll save. Okay, so we'll go to our field staff. Okay, and Bob test, Ross test is still on my caseload. That's because we haven't completed this final step, which should get him onto the new panel. So now I'm going to click his new site, which is / training site, and save. Great. And now I'm going to log in as the new participant coordinator, or I'm sorry, the participant's new coordinator, which is and to see if he's on the caseload, I'll go to the field staff tab. And normally as the old coordinator, I think best practice would be to reach out to the new coordinator and let them know that you made the switch and that they should now go in and check to see if it was successful. And let's see here, I see a Bob Dylan. And there is our Bob test, Ross test. So it looks like it worked perfectly. And see, his new site is the training site, which is great. So that is switching a participant from one panel to another. Were there any questions on that process?
Melissa had a question about skipping steps 8 through 13, and I just responded to her, yeah, if the client does show up in that table, you don't need to do that unable to locate client and the steps associated with it. I'm
Right.
making notes on updates that we need to make to that desk aid so it's more clear.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to do these demonstrations because then we are able to see what needs to be edited, and obviously that exit participant functionality is still not working. PHL does know about that, by the way, and they're testing out those bugs. So eventually you won't need to navigate there manually, but so that you're aware of how to do it.
Madeline, Melissa just asked if it's possible to run through this once again without switching back and forth to the desk aid.
Yeah, definitely. We can do that quickly. So let's move Bob test, Ross test back to site 1. So I'm going to create a new visit. And he's full benefit. Visit type is exit program. Visit reasons is no longer in SASH panel.
Oh, can I point out something before you go to the next screen? This, where it says select service to view SDP information, that box, we skip that. Don't do anything with that box. When I've been training people, that seems to be a confusion. So just letting people know, just skip that box.
Yeah, great point. Thanks.
Go ahead.
So we'll save. And thinking. Okay. And looks like it worked that time. Okay, so we do not need to check the suspend box. We're going to choose move to another SASH site as the suspension reason and save. We are sure. Okay, now we need to add the referral to get him back to the Site 1 panel. So we're going to add a new referral. Referral program, full benefit. Ooh, 10/29/1942. Awesome. Okay, and save. We're going to scroll to the bottom and we'll click Show Clients window. And we see Bob Test, Ross Test in the table, so we're going to click on him and accept referral. Referral updated successfully, great. So now we can fill out agency, site. So we moved him, we're going to move him back to Site 1. And looks like there are only 2 people associated with Site 1. So we'll just click on both of them and save referral info. And there should be one final step, which is to just update their panel in their demographics page.
So as you're doing that, Madeline, somebody asked, do you want us to never, oops, sorry, I just lost it. Do you want us never to click in the box regarding full or just in this instance? Never. Don't, that box that has SD as in David P info, don't click anything in that box. Just use the box above where it says to choose program or service, auto or full. That box below that, just skip that all the time. Just ignore it. Pretend it doesn't exist there. Thanks for asking. Go ahead.
Thanks. Okay, so we're going to go back into his record. It brings us straight to his demographics page, and we'll update his site to Site 1. So I, as the old coordinator, will reach out to the new coordinator and say, hey, check your caseload. I just moved Bob Test Ross Test to Site 1. Okay, and just to verify that everything worked, I'll log in as the new coordinator, which is me now. And I should only have one person. And there he is, and his site says Site 1. Okay, so that is that. So let's go on to some of these questions, and if we have time, we can quickly demonstrate adding a new participant. So someone asked, what is the EMHC visit and visit type? So I'll point that out. So if you go to the visit section, so we'll just view visit. So there, you may have noticed there's another visit type. It's just called EMHC visit. We are currently doing a pilot program at a couple of the SASH panels, and it's called the Embedded Mental Health Clinician Pilot Program. So we needed to come up with a way to designate visits for that specific program. So the reason it's so cryptic and we didn't let anyone know about it is because we're hoping no one will use it. And so that's right here. So if your name is not Allison Miley, that's our amazing mental health clinician, please don't use that visit type. But that's what it's there for. So that was our first question. So let's see here. Oh, some of you are experiencing an error where when you click on the participant from your caseload, it basically says you can't access this participant. A few of you have told me that you're experiencing that issue, and we have made that aware to PHL. I don't have any updates for you, unfortunately, but they are working on that issue. We hope it gets addressed in the next couple weeks so that we can get data entered on those participants. So after that, if you need help getting your data in, we can come up with a plan to do that. So I'm sorry you're getting that error. I'm really not sure what it's about. Okay, so next question, when we'll be able to get a report? Great question. We believe that once we get all of our historical data in and these new participants, or I'm sorry, the caseloads at 100%, we can then start generating reports. We do now have a reporting ability and an export ability in our testing environment. So as soon as that's ready, which will be in the next couple weeks, we'll be able to start generating reports for all of you guys. And, oh, and we already answered this is PCI coordinator role. That was when we were going through those tabs in PHL. Do we have other questions to add to the list? Any follow-up questions?
There hasn't been any that's shown up in the chat. Oh, wait, one just did. Any word on why the wait time for putting in new notes is so long?
Are you referring to the amount of time it takes to load, Jen?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed the system seems to be really particularly slow, at least in the last few weeks. Let's add a note and see what we're working with. So I'm going to add a new visit. Switch. Oh, there.
So for those of you who noticed what Madeline just did, she went to the left side column to hit add a visit. So you don't have to go all the way back out to the field staff tab to do new visit. If you have another visit you want to add in once you're on this visit page, you can just click add visit to add a new visit, just an FYI. As that's loading, Madeline, we do have another question. Will you be able to generate a report aggregating folks under chronic conditions specifically to target programming?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's see what
Jennifer said at times she's waiting up to 50 seconds to be able to access adding a note.
Yeah, and that's just crazy. Let's save this. So it probably has something to do with how many notes are already in there. Jen, do you feel like that's true? That it kind of has.
Yes, she said,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, Jody said, I agree. Jen had a question mark, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, this person is brand new. I added him today, so he doesn't have any data in there. So I bet you're right that it is associated with how much data has to do with mega notes. Well, that's all good information to know. So I'll bring that back to PHL. They know that the loading time has been particularly bad lately. But this is really good information to have so that they understand that it could be associated with how much information is in the participant's record. I'm really sorry you're waiting that long, Jen. If you just want to reach out to me individually, we could hopefully come up with a plan to get your notes in without you spending 2 hours at a time doing that, because that's just silly. Any other questions? All right. Okay, so it looks like we have about 15 minutes left, so let's go ahead and go through adding a new participant. Okay. And I am going to do this without the desk aid. I think it is helpful just to kind of go through it fluidly so that we're not switching back and forth between screens. Okay. So we're going to go to Client Management, New Referral. Full benefit. So we're just going to fill out the required fields. Let's see here. Okay, 1950. Adding a new part. Okay, so I just went into client management, new referral, and I've completed all of the fields which have a red asterisk. And so now we're going to save referral info. And scroll all the way to the bottom, and you should notice a new button, this Show Clients window. So we're going to click on that. And this step is just to validate whether or not this participant is actually a new participant, because we do not want to add a duplicate record for that person. So I'm going to say unable to locate clients, and it'll load for a little bit, and this new button will come up to create a new client. So we're going to click on that, and it should bring us to the demographics page. So this is to actually add the participant. Okay, so company is Sash, agency is Sash, and I'm in here as me, so I'm going to add them to site 1. And that's all the required fields, so I'm just going to leave everything else blank. Sometimes it's just a good idea because it's probably fresh in your mind when they filled out their assigned use and disclosure. We're going to fill that in and save. Okay. And now we're back at the referral page. So we've just created the new client, so now we have to complete the referral to get him onto the caseload. So I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to click the Show Clients window again. And since I just added him as a participant, he'll now be in this table. So now I'm going to click his record. I'm going to let it load a little bit and then accept referral. Okay. And now we can fill out these remaining required fields. And save. Okay, and just to double check that Big Bird made it onto our caseload, I'm gonna go back to the field staff page and double check that he's there. Okay, and there he is. So I hope that was helpful and you got some useful information. If we don't have any more questions, you can have 10 minutes back in your day. If you do still have some follow-up questions, please email me, or you can always give me a call. And I'm always happy to take your questions.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a very happy holidays, and we will see you or talk to you on the PHL call next month. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.